Bolu, let me come to you, right, and ask you, you're a global affairs analyst, and you've looked at things from the geopolitical point of view. South Africa has expelled Israel's top diplomat, and then Israel retaliated as well, expelling South Africa's envoy. From Israel's perspective, was this a necessary move? Is this just retaliation? And what does it really signal about Israel's defending its diplomatic presence abroad?
All right, thank you very much for having me. I believe that in diplomacy, reciprocity is not an option. You know, it's not something that is optional. It's the basic grammar of international relations. So when South Africa kicks out the #1 Israeli diplomat, and Israel doing nothing, sends a message that they are a doormat, and it's not a thing that Israel will want to stand for. So Israel's matching response kind of protects the dignity of the country and signals that any violation of the Vienna Convention obligations will not be tolerated in any way. Just think of it this way. Imagine someone slams the door in your face. I mean, you wouldn't open it wide for them to come back in. So the reciprocal expulsion establishes a boundary, a clear red line that protects Israel's diplomats from being the political punching bag of South Africa. So it's a move that tells the world that Israel will not accept any form of unilateral bullying from any country whatsoever, because, I mean, diplomatic presence is defended through strength, it's not apology in any way. Thank you.
Let me come to you, Dr. Kingsley. South Africa has taken Israel to the International Court of Justice over alleged genocide against Palestinians and against what's happening in Gaza. Just how does this reflect South Africa's commitment regarding human rights and international law? And what then will be the fallout of this? Do you think that, as Bolu has said, it's a case of Israel and its diplomat being a punching bag politically?
You know, what Bolu is saying is quite correct. However, in this instance, South Africa, you recall a year ago, withdrew its entire staff from the embassy in Tel Aviv. So the mission in Tel Aviv remained closed. So the diplomat that has been declared a persona non grata by Israel is not accredited to Israel. It's accredited to Palestine. But because Israel is the occupying power and it's recognized in terms of the Geneva Convention in this respect as the occupying power, and has become the de facto authority. So there's a little bit of abuse there that Israel has engaged in. I do agree that it's quite common that you'll find this tit for tat of expulsion of diplomats in this kind of incident. Coming back to the question of the ICJ, it's a total different matter. And I think you need a detailed discussion around that. Of course, there's tension that exists between South Africa and Israel, and that is precipitated by the fact that South Africa has taken Israel to the ICJ on the question of genocide. And I think there's a conventional agreement around the world that indeed there may be prima facie evidence of genocide committed in Palestine. Even some of the closest allies of Israel have turned against Israel. They're starting to go to join South Africa in the ICJ court. Israel has tried to put pressure on South Africa to withdraw the case, but the horse has bolted in that respect, because there are many countries that have joined. The latest country to join the ICJ is a country like China, has joined South Africa in that. So this is a case that will be ventilated on its own merit, but there are prima facie evidence that Israel has committed serious crimes in Gaza.
Right. Bolu, now, we know that the allegations have now brought to the ICJ. Israel has denied it. They claim that Israel has strongly rejected, saying that they haven't committed any genocide whatsoever. How do you see the impact of this, of what's playing out now in international courts? What impact will it have on geopolitical politics regarding those who have now joined on this suit that was brought by South Africa?
Okay, I think the ICJ accusations are viewed by Israel as political theatrics, you know, disguised as a legal process. I would describe it as a lawfare instead, you know, which is basically a battle of legislations, because I feel it's aimed at delegitimizing Israel's right to self-defense, because I mean Israel does have a right to self-defense. So, in my opinion, I feel South Africa is not really seeking justice genuinely. It's basically seeking headlines. Imagine a person walking into a cinema hall that is already filled up and now shouting fire, so he could have a seat to watch the movie. And that's how Israel sees all the genocide claims. It's seen as a distraction from the actual issue, which is the security threat that Israel is facing on a daily basis, and also cheapening the grave historical meaning of what genocide really is. I think it's a word that has been bastardized and used, in various manner that doesn't really represent what it really stands for. So I feel the impact of that, of all these things, is that ideologically driven governments like South Africa's would have a strained relationship with countries like Israel. Whereas other countries like Uganda and Rwanda are trying to strengthen their ties with Israel to gain from their technological advancements in sectors like agriculture. So Israel will shift towards more pragmatic African partners, and not prioritize countries that do not support their counterterrorism effort, like South Africa. That's what's playing out right here.